Hey there, today we're going to be talking about 5 of the most useful building techniques that I have learned to date. These are useful in comp and zone wars and 1v1s, whatever it may be. These will help you out no matter what, so let's get it. So first thing we're going to be taking a look at is this tunneling technique that I saw on Reddit. It's actually crazy genius. Like, you build doors and then like if I walk back through this tunnel here, as you can see, nobody would be able to follow you through this tunnel. So next thing we're going to talk about is this little cone drag that I do here. I've talked about it in other videos, but as you can see, I drag this cone and it's really good for blocking your opponent off if they're following behind you. Like, you can place 2 cones, and if they're ramping up behind you, they'll just get stuck on these cones. The most useful form of it is to do the side jump here, just like I'm showing. I'm going to show it in slow motion from both directions. And the reason this is the most useful way to do it is because you drag that cone and maybe you get them coned off and they're stuck there, and then they get stuck on low ground and then you get easy high ground on them. That's the point of a high ground retake. So here's what it looks like from the other side. It's the same idea. You drag the cone and then do the side jump, and you hope that they get stuck on the cone. If not, you don't lose any momentum. You're still going up with the side jump. And you just continue the build fight from there. But if you do get them stuck on that cone, then you have high ground and you can start to make some moves from high ground. So here's an in-game example. As you can see, I try to drag the cone. I actually miss him, but this is kind of like the idea of it. There was a ramp there and I kind of boxed him up. If he would have been there, he would have been full boxed. And the thing is, you do this drag cone method, but you don't lose any momentum from doing it. So it's just like an extra precaution. So this next retake is one of my favorites. I actually use it all the time. The reason it's my favorite is because you can do so many different things with it. You just have to read your opponent, and any move that your opponent is making, you can counter it with this retake. So the way you read your opponent with this retake is right here. When you get to this part of the retake, you need to be studying where exactly your opponent is. This retake is meant to be done when your opponent is behind you and like 2 or 3 or 4 layers above you. As you can see, when you turn around and place this ramp and cone, it blocks their point of view if they're above you. So they can't see where you're going, but you can figure out exactly where they are and figure out what you're going to do from there. It gives you a moment to plan. So now I'm going to show you the different moves that you can make with this retake. So the first one, this is probably the best one. You just side jump to one of the sides. So if you need to go up a few layers to get above your opponent, you just do the ramp and cone, and then that blocks their point of view, and then you side jump and you go up a few layers. It's important to make sure you side jump just like I do in these clips. I land towards the bottom of the ramp, that way I can 90 and get up 2 layers instead of just 1. So another method that you can use this retake is going straight up the ramp and cone that you build, just like in this situation. And as you can see, I'm doing a lot of editing and adding walls and stuff, and this is necessary because your opponent is probably going to be right around there. So you need to look out for them trying to pre-fire you. Here's an in-game example of this exact move. As you can see, when I spin, I kind of check where he is, and I see that he's behind me and above me like 3 layers, and that's why I do this retake. When they're behind you and above you, this retake works perfectly. As you can see, I know exactly where he's going to be when I do the retake. So here's one more example. This is when I actually become either on the same level or else I'm above my opponent while doing this. So I just edit through all the ramps and floors. And here's an in-game example to go with this move as well. It's like halfway through the retake, you need to know exactly where your opponent is, and you can choose which version of the retake to do.
Nice. Oh my god.
Right here, I see he's underneath that ramp that I built, and so I know that I can get him by editing through here. By knowing exactly where he is, you have the upper hand. Oh my god. Okay, so next thing we're going to be talking about is when you edit through a cone and you place like other cones further. I use this in one of my starts for 1v1s, as you can see here. Usually the cones just go straight over the opponent and they never see it coming. They always are like, how the frick did you just cone me? Well, this is how I do it. You all know my secret now. A lot of people do this in 1v1s to start their 1v1, but not a lot of people think to do it during the 1v1s. As you can see here, I'll just be doing random retakes and I'll edit through a cone and then just spam cones in every direction. Anytime I edit through a cone like this, I just try to spam it. Like, if you can get in the habit of spamming cones every time you edit through a cone, you'll get everyone coned throughout 1v1s. The way you can practice this and get better at this is just by, when you're free building and practicing free building, just get in the habit when you edit through a cone or something, like I'm doing here, just place a couple cones after you edit through a cone. If you can get in the habit of this, then you'll start doing it in 1v1s and you'll be able to cone people way more often. And people will just be like, how the frick are you coning me? And here's another thing you can do. If you look right above the wall, you can place a cone on the opposite side of the wall. A lot of people know this, but obviously there's some people who don't, and it can be a useful trick. So this is the last retake that we're going to talk about today. I know, so sad. So when you're double editing through a floor and cone like this, and the reason I like this retake is because it leaves you so many opportunities. You can edit through the wall, or you can go out any of the sides like I do here with a cone and like a ramp. But yeah, anytime you're editing through a floor and cone, you just have a lot of opportunities. You just gotta set it up right. Make sure you're placing the wall on the side where your opponent is. But yeah, here's just a couple different examples of me doing this, and then here's an in-game example as well.
I don't understand, like, nothing. None of mine.
If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more, like and comment. Let me know what you want to see in the future. And if you're new, subscribe, please. It helps me out a lot. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.